had it figured out how long it takes for this to catch up with me, but I don't. So um, it should be by now. Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but the hell else are you going to do about it? Um, this is something I struggle with. I'll be really honest. And a lot of people are surprised when I say that because I'm known as being kind, and I am kind. I can be too kind though. And when I finally have enough of your crap, I can be really I can be really cold, and I can hold on to a grudge. But you know what? Holding on to a grudge doesn't hurt you. It only hurts me. You don't give a damn. If you're somebody that's upset me that much, you don't care that I'm upset with you. You probably think it's funny. Get some kind of weird. People are so strange. I'm in a mood, by the way. Side note: I'm in a weird ass mood, and I'm not sure why. I went to um, I went to a church yesterday. I haven't been to church in like a really long time. In fact, when I left here, my friend's mom, well, if the place goes up in flames, you'll know you'll know what church I was at. But the people were so incredibly kind and welcoming, and I felt so good when I left there. And then I don't know, a few hours later, I was just in a mood, just dark and moody and morose and sullen, and it was really strange. I haven't quite kicked it. I was in a pretty good mood this morning for a while, but then I had a frustrating afternoon, and there it all went. But I was talking to a friend, and I know this is a side note, but it's pertinent to the mood. I was talking to a friend about how just messed up it is that I spent so long in that mental state, that as much as I hate it, and it's as dark and ugly as it is, there's something really horrifyingly comfortable about it because it's so familiar. Anyway, yeah, I'm in a mood. So that's probably why forgiveness is kind of on my mind because, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about people that I'm pissed off at today. But here's a great quote, and I know I'm going to butcher this lady's name, so I'm really sorry, but I believe it's Newa. I'm going to screw this up. Newa Zebian. Anyway, it's a beautiful quote. So I hope she'll forgive me for butchering her name. Which, by the way, I don't usually go into political things here. I try not to. But when people say, oh, well, it's just, white people can't pronounce ethnic names. Well, you think that we can pronounce each other's names? Go talk to an Irish person. Okay, go. I went to school with a girl named Siobhan, Siobhan, Siobhan. Nobody knew how to pronounce that. She had to tell us. It wasn't because we were anti Irish, we just didn't know how to pronounce it. You should encourage people to learn instead of getting irritated with them. If they're not trying to learn, certainly get irritated. But if they're trying to pronounce it and they just don't know how, don't get mad about that. That's just such a silly thing to me to get mad about. Anyway, and people mispronounce my last name all the damn time. But anyway, I'm sorry. Told you I was in a mood. Here's the quote. Today I decided to forgive you. Not because, sorry, this is going to be a long video. Not because you apologized or because you acknowledged the pain that you caused me, but because my soul deserves peace. And that is why you need to forgive people. That is why forgiveness is so important. This information, by the way, is from the Mayo Clinic. So, what does it mean? What is it to forgive somebody? Well, it's going to be different things to different people, but essentially, it's just taking your power back. It's not. It's a deliberate choice to let go of the anger and the resentment and the hurt and whatever those uncomfortable emotions are that you're dealing with. It's just making the choice to let it go. Now, I will tell you, in my personal experience, it's not a one and done. But every time I forgive somebody, when it does come back, it's a little less and a little less and a little less. So it's worth the effort. Um, it can lead to some empathy and compassion for the person who who hurt you, who upset you so much. You need to know that most people they're doing the best they can with the skill set they have available. Some of us just don't have very good people skills. Some of us don't have very good coping skills. When somebody is crappy to you, It's not about you. It really isn't. I know that's hard when you're the one dealing with it, when you're on the receiving end of it and you're so hurt and you're angry, but it's not about you. It's about them. It's about how they view themselves. Forgiveness, it doesn't excuse their behavior. It just lessens their grip over you. It gives you your power back. It allows you to let go and move on. So some benefits to forgiveness. Healthier relationships. Well, sure, you're not dragging baggage around everywhere you go. Better mental health. Less stress. I'm laughing because I told you I have a problem with this, and I have been just a freaking stress case the last few days. Less stress, less anxiety, less hostility. Well, sure, because you're learning how to let this stuff go. It lowers your blood pressure. It lessens depression symptoms, not systems. It will ease depression symptoms. It's going to boost your immunity. I think that's really cool. If you don't realize how powerful the mind-body connection is, you are a very fortunate person. I'm going to wager you're probably pretty healthy overall. Forgiveness improves your heart health. And you know what else? It's great for your self-esteem. Well, sure, because you're taking your power back from somebody. Excuse me. Now, the effects of a grudge, that damages your relationships because you're dragging that resentment into each new relationship, into each new friendship that you make. Well, that person did this to me, so therefore you're going to do that. That's why you got to let this stuff go. You can get so caught up in the wrongness that you can't enjoy your life. I have a good friend. I have a really good friend, and she went through a really, I said really too much there. She went through a very nasty divorce, very nasty, and it impacted our friendship. And I feel horrible. That makes me a really crappy person, I think, saying that. But it was so hard to be with her because even a couple of years after the fact, every time we'd get together, it was just all this anger and rage and at how wrong he had done her. And he did do her wrong. He did. But what good does it do her to carry that around? Now, I'm not saying I would be any better in her situation. I'm just saying she was so caught up in that wrongness that she wasn't able to enjoy her life. And he doesn't deserve that kind of power over her. He's a jackass. Carrying a grudge leads to depression, anxiety, stress, a loss of connectedness. Well, sure, because you don't trust people. It can leave you feeling like you have no purpose. Why? Because we're social beings. Whether you like it or not, we're social beings. We need people. Excuse me. So how do you do it? Like I said, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard even for me. And I tend to be really generous with people. I tend to be generous to a fault. But, when somebody says something to me and I'm not sure how to take it, if I can find a positive spin on it, I'm generally going to take it from the positive perspective. Because if it's unclear, why assume the worst? But again, that being said, boy, you pissed me off enough, and that's it. That's it. I'm done. But you need to understand the value of forgiveness in your life. It really doesn't have anything to do with the other person. You need to be aware, and this might sound crazy, but if you've been carrying a grudge for a really long time, you need to make sure you're aware of exactly what it is you need to forgive them for. You need to accept your emotions, all those uncomfortable, unpleasant emotions about what they did and the impact. And then you've got to work to release them. Yeah, it's work. But carrying a grudge, it eats away at you. So you may as well do the work and just purge that all out of your soul. Get rid of them. You need to choose it. It's really both that simple and that difficult. It's a choice. Make the choice to let go. Make the choice to take your power back. Make the choice to, frankly, it'll cut those last strings and you can get that person completely out of your life. Well, maybe. Depends on who it is, I guess. Forgiveness means you're no longer the victim. Forgiveness means that you are empowered. It's not about being a pushover. It's not. Because again, it's not about them. It doesn't make what they did to you. I need to put stuff down. It doesn't make what they did to you okay. That's not at all what forgiveness is about. It's about you gaining your inner peace back. And if you really can't let it go, I strongly urge you to consider counseling. For me, meditation and journaling has been tremendously beneficial with working through my feelings of forgiveness. But as I'm saying this, there's a particular girl that is in my mind, and I've been trying to forgive her for several years now, and I'm having a hard time. So I guess I should maybe call a counselor. Like, truly, because I can't say it's a big part of my life. I don't think about it. I don't obsess about it, but it's there because this is someone I had been friends with since I was 5. Well, friends is a stretch. We were frenemies long before I knew what the term meant. Anyway, if you're still really struggling trying to forgive somebody, try to see the situation from their perspective. Mentally healthy people don't run around trying to destroy others. So try to see it from their perspective. Maybe you'll gain a little empathy and compassion. You could also think about all the times when you've needed forgiveness, because I promise there's been a lot. We all hurt people, sometimes on purpose, sometimes on accident, but we've all needed forgiveness in our lives. So maybe think about the times you've needed grace and somebody gave it to you, and use that to extend. I'm having a hell of a time talking tonight. Like I said, journal, meditate, prayer. Prayer is really good. And if I can't bring myself to pray for the other person, I will pray for, please, Lord, to help me let this go, because I don't want to give that person the power anymore. And again, you need to understand this is a process. It's probably not going to be one and done, especially if you were really hurt. And it's something that's not in my notes, but you have a role in this. You have a role in what happened. You may not like to admit that, but you do have a role. So when you're looking for the forgiveness and how to do it, you need to build in there that you got to forgive yourself for your role. Maybe you didn't set that. With my former friend, I didn't set boundaries. I can't be mad at her for running me over when I never set any boundaries. That's my fault. That's what I need to forgive myself for. That's still something I struggle with. Anyway, I'm exhausted and I'm rambling, so I'm going to go. I hope you all have a great night, and I will be back Wednesday at 7:00 Central.